Disclaimer. Welcome to Two Cops, One Donut podcast. The views and opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Two Cops, One Donut, its host, or affiliates. The podcast is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. We do not endorse any guests' opinions or actions discussed during the show. Any content provided by guests is of their own volition, and listeners are encouraged to form their own opinions. Furthermore, some content is graphic and has harsh language. Viewer discretion advised and is intended for mature audiences. Two Cops, One Donut and its host do not accept any liability for statements or actions taken by guests. Thank you for listening.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Wouldn't be a good Two Cops, One Donut without some technical difficulties. How are you tonight, Manny?
I'm doing fantastic. Did we lose Alan's voice?
Test. Is it working
There
again?
we go.
Yeah, we got it now.
Okay, so you have to be careful. Don't touch the mic or it automatically mutes.
That's good to know.
So we've got new equipment here on the show tonight. I got a new microphone. Hope it sounds good. Maybe it's a little loud, but they didn't teach me that if you just touch it, it automatically mutes. So good night. So tonight we have Houston Gas on with us and Banning Sweatland. Banning, take it over because I don't know if it's working yet.
Hey, no worries. And hello to everybody in the chat. I'm only opening it every once in a while because I am on dinosaur prehistoric internet still. Our city is trying to come up with the times. I think Houston is actually on the same internet that I'm on, and his is he's got a much better camera. But I'm going to try to open this chat here, see who we got here tonight. Of course, you don't see the beautiful man Eric here this evening. Eric is working, so we wish him well with that. Mr.
Eric
Bill
is
Folds-
actually saying sounds good. So and he's laughing
Good.
at me. So
yeah, you
everybody.
just I think you only muted for about 5 seconds, man. You're good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's got this cool, you can't see it. Maybe I'll show it up here. So it's got this cool little green bar thing. I don't know what that means, but if you touch it, it automatically goes red. So lesson learned number 1, don't touch the microphone.
We could insert jokes, but I'm not going to do that to you tonight.
I know. It's kind of easy. So there's quite a few people on.
I know there is. And I know not a lot of, Houston probably doesn't want to bring this up, but those of you that were connected with me on LinkedIn, and we won't dive deep into it, but I'm just glad that we have Houston here with us tonight. He had a scare similar to a scare that I had, about 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. I don't know, Houston, if you want to dive into it. What I think is great is they're not finding anything wrong. I don't know if they're finding anything.
Well, they're probably not, man. I spent too many damn years as a cop, man, and it all got shaken out of my head for one reason or another. I mean, law enforcement has a way of doing shit like that too. So,
right,
there's that. But no, man, I tell you, right on the first, and again back to back on the third, man, within like 36 hours of each other, I had 2 mini strokes, and let me tell you something. That's kind of scary. Kind of not being in control of that kind of stuff or anything, but there's generally not any warning signs till it comes about. So, gentlemen, I tell you, start taking an aspirin a day now. If you're over 40, keep that blood thin and don't do stupid stuff, man, and then we're good.
That's right. And you said an aspirin a day, but not a handle a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Blood. Yeah, they probably frown on that. But no, it was just to give everybody a quick 30,000 foot view. Got a call from Houston's much better half saying Houston was just loaded into a helicopter and was Fort Worth bound. And of course, one of your best friends is going through that. Of course, we pack up here, Jamie, my wife, my daughter Shelby. We throw some stuff together, hop in the truck, and of course, you're trying to beat the friggin' helicopter down there, but it's a little bit faster than my truck. But got down there, checked on him. He was in great spirits and went through a ton of testing. And of course, for the type of symptoms he had, they did what's called stroke protocol. And the first thing a doctor or a neurologist is going to want to do is an MRI. And Houston can't do an MRI because the friggin' dude got shot in the face with a shotgun. So that left some remnants that MRIs don't like. And he would probably look like Pinhead if they did.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I think if we did a remake of a 1980s horror flick, that would just be good, man. Let's just be real, man, and just watch it all suck out.
Yeah, well,
Hey, that might be the cure.
I'm telling you, dude, it'll cure everything. It'll cure what ails you, buddy.
You can start smoking cigarettes and all kinds of different holes out of your body just to be cool,
There
right?
we go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're also waiting for Adam to get here. Y'all had met Adam a few weeks ago. Matter of fact, I think we had Adam on. Houston, was that the same night my mother passed? It might have been.
Actually, yes, it was.
Yeah. So about 3 or 4 hours after that podcast that Adam was on, I lost my mom. She went to heaven, and she had an amazing life. Able to talk to everybody before her passing, which was beautiful. I'm just glad she's not in pain anymore and watching over everybody. So that's just the type of person she was. But I'll get off that subject. But just going timeline based on when Adam was on versus that time of month. I believe that was December 9th, somewhere in there, 8th, something like that. But yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been reading stuff on the aspirin studies, too. Something negative wise with strokes, but I'm sure Houston's doctor is looking into that stuff.
It's just the wee little baby ones, man, not the.
Yeah, yours was, you're just having the 81 milligram, I think is what it's what I take too.
I'm trying to be a good boy and do what the doctor says right now.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see here. Well, Alan, you got anything new going on?
Well, it looks like Mr. Cucumber must have gotten arrested, and I guess I'm missing some stuff because he's talking about fighting it to the bitter end, and it keeps going back and forth. So that's new news that I didn't know about.
Trying
I'm
to the chat
becoming the world's worst painter at my parents' house. So I spend all my free time at my parents' house remodeling. And then I started this new job. So spending a lot of time learning things that I thought I knew that I didn't know. So
Well, I seem to do a lot of that anyway, so we're in good company then.
Yeah. It just when I think I know technology, I learn new technology, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know any of this.
Hey.
Oh, another guy's on here. Some guy with a beard. He probably has the coolest beard of all of you guys, because I can't grow one. But big shout out to the bearded Tim. He was away for a little while, dealing with some medical too. So we're glad he's healthy enough to be back on here. We missed him. And Mike Cucumber super chat. My life is over, is what he said. So it's never over. You just fight it and fight the good fight. And we don't answer any questions.
It's never over until that heart stops beating. And if you're fighting a fight, we wish the best for you. I'm trying to find that comment. I think I found it. If I'm right, is it something about obstruction? Sorry that you went through that. I'm sure you've been talking to Mr. Billfold on here. I don't know all the details, and it's none of my business. But whatever you're fighting, I wish you the best in it. Let's see here. Let's see. Trying to find out. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get an answer from Adam real quick. I want to find out what Adam's doing this year. For those of y'all that didn't get to see that podcast, Adam is a pretty badass author. Once I get the rest of my stuff compiled, I'm going to ask him how to get stuff published and who he trusts to get it published, so I can get my.
There's nobody better in the business than.
Do you poke your finger and then write, or do you write and poke your finger after?
Yeah, I think it's poke your finger then write.
Okay.
Something.
So
Maybe it also depends on which way you sold your soul or something like that too.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So what else you got to tell us about there, Mr. Gass?
I tell you what, it's been beautiful weather here lately, and I can't complain. Life is pretty good, I guess, for the most.
That's good.
This is the one they're banning. That guy.
Yeah,
There he is. There he is. Adam Davis.
Yeah.
it's that beautiful bald head of his. I'm telling you, man.
I don't know what it is with you guys, but do y'all polish it?
Hey,
Is it
man,
like-
don't be jealous,
Is
man.
it sham wow or just a chamois?
Listen, man. God only gave a certain amount of perfect heads in the world, and then the rest He put hair on. So don't question. It's just the way it should be.
Oh, that's greatness. No, but he'll be on shortly. I think he was at a late dinner, I believe, and he was getting home as soon as he could. And I saw Eric wrote in the chat there. He said it's different from the other side. Where'd that go? Yeah, it's fun watching from the other side, Eric said. So, what's up, Eric? I know our show is not as good unless you're on there, brother. And we hope you're having a good evening at work. I believe that's what you said you had to do tonight. Sorry you have to work, but we're gonna try to fill in that gap and do what we can.
Except Mr. Billfold, man, I'm going to tell you right now, the prettiest one is Vaughn all day long. All day long.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I was going to give a dinner story, but I'll wait until Vaughn's on next time. I'm not going to do that right now. Yeah, and I'll have to time it when Houston's on the show too, because I think they're in competition, and I think Jamie's actually getting a little nervous. So,
man, I tell you what, buddy, man, me and Vaughn, if we have to duke it out, we will. I mean,
right. All right, Adam said 18 minutes, so he's driving home.
18 minutes. We're going to put it on a countdown.
That's right. There we go.
I'm not that good. So Mr. Billfold's really getting going. All y'all had to do was say the word Vaughn, and he got motivated all of a sudden. Big shout out to those behind the scenes that are doing all the fun stuff that keep us in line. So the Buy Me the Coffee link, the Discord, thank you to all you guys back there that make that happen. Couldn't do it without you guys. We really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. I wish I could do some of that to take off some of the load, but I work for a large tech company and I can't control all delete myself out of a wet paper bag. But I know my product inside and out in reference to what it does for law enforcement. But we have some amazing people in my company too that pick up that slack, and that's just like our guys here that do all the amazing stuff in the background. And you, Alan, you do a lot as well. Let's see here. I'm just is it just my internet or are the chats running really slow? Because I've got my chats running.
I think it's running slow. Maybe everybody's talking at once, but right. Rogue Nation's in the house. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Big shout out. Make sure to hit the like button and follow and share. And there is swag out there. If you want TCOD swag, go to Ghost Patch. And what else? So, Banning, what is going on in the big world of law enforcement right now?
Well, I don't know about law enforcement, but I mean, let's look at some happy times this month. Yeah, I lost mom last month. This
Yeah.
month, back on the 13th, my wife and I had our 13th wedding anniversary, and that was amazing. You know, this woman is if she has good vision, I call BS, because when I wake up and look in the mirror, I wouldn't marry myself, but she
So
decided to marry me. But yeah, so we celebrated 13 years this month.
here's a fun fact. Banning got married the exact same day my divorce was final with my first wife.
You want to talk dates? Houston and I have so many Chronicle Order dates. It's kind of like tomorrow.
Tomorrow is Banning's birthday,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
yeah, and yeah,
Oh, his daughter was going to come in with balloons and confetti, and I told her she would not get in trouble for it.
right.
And so Eric posted this one as departments begin using AI for predictive policing and DME. What guardrails have you seen or think need to be in place to make sure they don't abuse and create automated existing human bias? You have an answer to that? I have my thoughts, but I'll let y'all go first.
Hey, some of this stuff, man,
Mike Rosie.
as great as a lot of this stuff is, man. There's some of this, man, that I don't know, it's getting kind of scary. Um, Funny how you can, it's really hard to tell what's real and what is not these days in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. And Nina, thank you. And I'm one of these guys. You know, people send me on what is that streaming Instagram, and I'm not trying to grow my Instagram, but people, especially Houston, sends me some funny videos, and I'll find some funny ones to send them back. I'm still kind of learning, going down the rabbit hole. But some of these AI videos, they are getting so realistic. I could see it destroying somebody's career, somebody's life on things. And I'm not big on government control over anything, but I do believe that the companies that are doing the AI that are so good at them, I wish they would put a watermark out there. Even if it's satire, stuff like that, at least let the general public know that, hey, this is AI. This is not actually, Joe Biden, Donald Trump. It's not these people, or whoever they're imitating on there. I just wish it had a watermark so people that.
So I will add this. I posted something on LinkedIn the other day that was a picture of me, and it was created by AI, and it did have a watermark in it that said created by AI,
Oh, that's good.
which I thought was very interesting. It's the first time I've seen that, but I think one of the things that I see coming on the law enforcement side with AI is it's going to have to be approved platforms, Mark 43s, Axons, Flocks,
Mhm.
all the different manufacturers. Just like we're seeing JGI go out of the country, you're going to have to prove that it's certified
Yep.
to be able to be in policing. And I know we're already talking about it, but I think it's going to have to be, there's going to have to be more backbone, just like when we started having to add firewalls for using TCIC and CIC, things like that. There's going to have to be certain things way above the advancement of even my IT brain.
Sure.
There's going to have to be some things that safeguard it. With my current company, we're not allowed to use anything on our work phone up until they just released it, as like I onboarded on the 5th. I guess it was like the start of this month. They have their own, and so it can officially be used on the computer, but you can only use theirs.
Sure.
And so it's given certain boundaries of what it can look at and what it can do. But some of these companies that are building them, if you go and look at how it's actually designed on the back end, it's so open that the biggest problem with it, and what a lot of people don't realize, is it's actually not looking for factual information. What most of the AIs are looking for is to complete the answer.
Yep.
So whatever you put in there, all it wants to do is give you a complete answer. And so you're your worst enemy on if you can't write a good prompt. If you can write a good prompt, then you can get good information, and get credible information. But if you can't figure that out, it'll just answer the question. If it makes it up, it makes it up.
I would like to have the fictional character Sarah Connors from Terminator 2 on the show and ask her what she thinks about this AI. If anybody remembers Terminator 2, I think it came out in 1990. I just took Shelby down the road of indoctrinating her on all the 80s and 90s shows that we grew up with that were the greats, because the crap that they're coming out with now, I can only put up with about 20% of it. But the stuff from the 80s and 90s were great. And just think about Terminator 2. I think that they were projecting that futuristic year. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on this, but I think it was 2029, 2028, somewhere in there. And if you look at AI just in the past 24 months in reference to video quality and where it's gone just on Reels, the public has the availability to go download and have access to an AI generation engine or whatever, and just the stuff that it's coming up with. I know somebody, I believe it was Elon Musk, just a couple weeks ago, said that some of the AI platforms are already trying not to let you turn it off. And somebody else on this show, I'm sure our viewers may have known the exact quote that he said, but to the point to where it is getting dangerous in some sense. I mean, it's not obviously Terminator 2 dangerous. I don't think, at least, but it is dangerous. And but going back to the law enforcement platform, we are coming out with a lot of really neat things. And on LinkedIn, I have a lot of companies reach out to me saying, Banning, would you take a look at this? Here's what gives you access to it. And this is what the product does. Here's your own version. Try it for a few days and let us know what you think. And this goes to generating a narrative for a police offense report based on, Axon's got a version, different companies have a version out there, and it's doing I'm going to say a fairly decent job. Here's what my message to those AI companies is, hey, bravo, congratulations, this is awesome. Let's make sure the checks and balances are there. As that narrative is created, the peace officer that's supposedly authoring the narrative must go paragraph by paragraph and digitally sign off that this is true and factual statements of this, and this, based on this portion of the video. The technology is amazing as long as we have the checks and balances there to where it's not doing all the work. And then you get in trouble of going to court and maybe that video errors. And if it's not 100% correct, is that peace officer going to be in contempt? Was he lying under oath? That type of thing, just on affidavits of fact and stuff. That's what kind of scares me. But as long as those checks and balances are there, I believe the whole reason that it was created is to get that patrol officer back out on the street, to deter crime and go be available for more calls. Correct me if you've got a different opinion on it.
So you were right. It was 2029, 35 years from when the show aired. 1995 would have been 2030. So good call on that. Super chat from Brandar. I'm just counting down until cops use AI to create surveillance videos to get someone to confess. We are allowed to lie. And then Mike Cucumber gave $1.99. AI said I had my rights violated. So, you can make any of the AIs say what you want them to say, depending on what information you give it, right, wrong, or indifferent. And so I do see that it's going to be a challenge for all law enforcement. I mean, let's just look at right now. You could go with AI and you could do what do they call those calls where they start popping up all over town to pull you away from a call? I forget what we call them.
You talking about swatting calls?
Swatting. You can already create
Yep.
an AI where it would automatically start, doing swatting and things like that through the community. So that simple thing causes a chaos to a small agency and even a big agency, but I can speak to the small side of it. Now add improper photos and all that kind of stuff to an agency that doesn't have the ability to verify the behind the actual properties of a photo, to figure out if that's a real document or not.
Right. It is. And there's going to be just as many AI companies that are coming out now for law enforcement. I believe there's going to be just as many other companies that come out and say, download this. It'll play in the background of whatever you're watching to let you know if this is coming from an AI source. And if I had the money to back a company like that, I believe that's going to do just as well because of how well AI is doing.
No, I completely agree with that.
AI in the next few years is going to make more mega billionaires in the next 5 years than the internet did in the last 25.
Oh, absolutely.
The positive thing, as much as AI is going to do for us, and I'm all about it. I love it. I use a lot of tools from it, but I'm also a realistic person, and I still really want my toilet to flush when I hit the thing. So people need to go and become plumbers, and I really love welders and air conditioning guys because I really like it when the air conditioner works at my house. So that's just as, if not more important than some of those other things. And so
let's talk about the evolution of tech just for a second. So I got on the road right after the Marine Corps. It was meaning on the road, meaning patrol and law enforcement in 2002. And it's kind of aging me there a little bit. And I know Houston got on right around the same time in reference to patrol on the street.
Yes.
And so let's talk about. I was at a medium-sized agency. Gosh, I guess at that time we were probably 72 to 80 officers. I'm thinking it was right before we started doing a lot of hiring. That's when I was with Haltom City, which butts up to a larger city, Fort Worth. And when I got in there, we were driving the Crown Vics. That's the car of all cars for law enforcement. And they had just got, I think they've had it just for a few years, but they had the little green box computers that were very low set. It was kind of that first generation MDT. And it was what's called a green liner. So if you want to think of a green screen, it's not your typical color computer like we're on today. And it was very good for messaging dispatch, messaging another officer that's out there working with you in the same city, running a 28 and 29. And all I mean by that is running a license plate or a person. And the returns back then, even though they were old, it was faster than some of the technology today because it was a direct line link here in the state of Texas to Austin to what's called TLETs. And that's Texas Law Enforcement Terminal and Law Enforcement Terminal. And you basically run that plate and it'd be an instant return. You get 4 little screens. I'd tell you, not back then, but back then all you have is registration details, a registered owner's name, basically what they paid for their plate, if it's a vanity plate or not, if the car was stolen, or there was any regional warrants attached. And being whatever region you're in, it's going to compile those cities, and those are the only local warrants for like traffic stops and stuff you'd be able to see. And let's just fast forward just a few years, and then we had the advent going from VHS recording on dash cameras because body cameras weren't around yet, to a digital or DVD version of that. And then the computers were slowly starting to get better. we had the old strobe style lights that were pulling what it was at 12 amps.
Did you just say stroke style
Strobe.
light? Oh, okay.
Okay. The
Sorry.
rotating beacon.
I'll have to get out of the gutter. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
sir. I'm sorry.
But, basically in those Crown Vics, if you turn the key off and just put it on access and hit the master button for all your lights, you'd get 3.5 minutes of lights till your battery went dead because it was pulling 12
Yep.
amps on all 8 vector. It was a vector light. If you look up vector light bar from the early 2000s, same as New York, it was triangle, ugly as sin.
I need one. I want to put it on the back wall.
I mean, they were horrible. But then come the advent of LED technology to it came first in a double stack light bar, like the city of Grapevine had that of LEDs, and then it came down to a single stack. And their big sales to a law enforcement agency is this is harder to see for oncoming traffic. And then, of course, then they started doing the visor lights that were LED and a lot brighter. But watching the technology age just from the time Houston and I were in law enforcement, man, it seemed like almost every month we were, at least I was, I'm sure Houston was too, like, hey, you're going to take an 8-hour class and we're going to learn this new technology that we're putting in your car. And I think you see where I'm going at with this. Like now you go to an agency that's a decent size that has a budget for technology. And these cars went from $40,000 fully outfitted in 2002 up to now in a larger agency, you're getting up to $115,000, $120,000 range if you're doing pursuit mitigation stuff like that. So if you're budget light iteming stuff, the amount of tech that's going in these cars is, I'm not going to say it's ridiculous, but it's a lot because that officer's job, unless it's a 2-man unit, the primary job is to drive that car and not hit into anybody. I mean, when I was at that larger agency, I had a beautiful computer that did a lot. I had thermal imaging on my mirror mounted spotlight that also doubled as a thermal imager. What's up, Adam? Thank you for joining
us.
We're talking about the time Houston and I got into law enforcement, the time we got out, the amount of technology that kind of spread through the country of what we had in as officers back then versus what these guys got out there now. It's like a friggin' shuttle coming down the road, from FLIR, forward-looking
computers.
Let's think about it, Manning, man. Our very first patrol cars were prairie schooners, dude. I mean, we're that old now.
We are a little on the old side, for sure. Adam, I'm going to throw you right under the bus, man. How old are you now?
How old am I?
Yeah, just ballpark range.
44.
44. Okay, well, I got a few years on you. I'll be 47 tomorrow. And
happy early birthday, man!
Thank you. I try not to count them anymore. And Jamie was asking me early, "What are we going to do for your birthday? Do you want to do?" I was like, "Let's just pretend it's another day, and go about our business, and go from there." So, yeah, man. So Adam, not to interrupt what I was saying, we're going to get back to it. Adam, how was your day? And we haven't seen you on here since about December 8th, December 9th. From December 8th, December 9th till now, how has Adam been, and what's your outlook for 2026?
You know what? I could complain about a lot of things, but really nobody gives a crap. Look,
Banning,
at that,
hold on.
Check
Is that
out.
your first car? Is that the first one you were in, Banning?
You know what? I'm actually there. I'm sitting in the back though. So that was
no, the front tires aren't off the ground. You're not.
Oh
that's
my
a
God.
lot.
Boy, imagine getting in a pursuit in that. Back to you, Adam. That was funny as hell, Alan. Thank you.
Man, I'm
sorry. It
grateful
just
for,
I just was able to get it brought up.
I'm just grateful for another day, man. Christmas was wonderful, of course, and New Year's Eve. Outlook for 26. I think it's time to stop focusing so much on self-development and instead taking the pain that we've endured and finding ways to use it to serve others. And I'm not much I'm not at all for New Year's resolutions, but I do like to have a kind of a vision for the year. And it's restoration for a lot of people that have been dealing with stuff,
Oh yeah.
So outlook for the year is there's a lot of reasons to be full of despair and hopelessness, but I choose to go at it with a different perspective and a different attitude. And you know what? The world has always been in chaos. It's just more prevalent now because of social media. And we can choose to be a part of all the crap that's going on in the world. We can be a part of the solution. And it's not starting off on a good foot, as we have seen in Minnesota and New York.
Yeah.
But
yeah, just there's always something around the globe that's doing something. But
always,
if we can just focus on us and the people that we affect around us, I think that's a big step. And I didn't get to tell you, Adam, but Eric has to work tonight. That's why he's not blessing us with his beautiful mug. And I think he's got his Air Force stuff actually coming up. So maybe Alan and I, for a couple of the shows. Now, Alan, just a little heads up. Next week, I'm going to be in San Antonio for my company for Sales Kickoff. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do next Monday, but we'll see. But
I'm in the same boat. I'm in Plano, so I don't know.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
No doubt. Well, Adam, and Adam, before we close tonight out, I do want to take a minute because your books are so amazing. I would like to take a couple minutes and talk about some of your books if we have the time after some of these videos, because I believe your books are good for not just law enforcement but the masses, and everybody knows. I'm not going to advertise just to advertise, and Adam damn sure didn't ask me to do this, but I would do that, and one of these days I'm going to kick Houston in his cojones and get him to friggin' write a book, because the book would be amazing.
That dude has a story. That's why I wrote about him in my last book that released in 23, Unconquered. Right. It begins with a foreword written by a Texan, a legendary Texan, and it ends about a legendary Texan. And I think that's the only appropriate way to write a book called Unconquered.
But now the man that wrote your forward, man, he's legendary. I'm just a dumb butt, that got shot, and lived. So,
Oh, you're a blessing, man. I appreciate you showing that. No, you know what? By far, the best-selling book I have out of all the books I've written, which I have a brand new book, first book releasing in 3 years, releases in May of this year. It's called Bulletproof Family. But the best-selling book I have by far is this little blue book, that one behind the badge right there, 100,000 physical copies sold. There'll be a big confetti party soon, big PR blitz and campaign. I'll get a cute little plaque that says, hey, congrats, you sold 100,000 copies. But that means that there's been 100,000 law enforcement officers impacted with this message of encouragement. You know what? If you're watching today and you're not a cop, maybe you've never put on that uniform. Maybe you have. I don't care. You may not have a single dime to give, a cent to give, but you can say an encouraging word. You can say thank you. You can say something to lift one another up. We got to stop devouring each other as law enforcement, man. In the world we live in, we are all we've got. That's because we.
You want to talk about that right there, man.
I got
that whole brotherhood thing right there can be a touchy subject right there.
Yeah, it can.
I'd really like to see it go back to a time, man, where we were actually there for each other and not worrying about what position is trying to come up ahead or anything like that, man. Because essentially, man, we're all out there doing the exact same job, man, and we got to be able to rely on each other, guys.
Yep. And this starts off as something as small as, and just to me and how I teach my kids, hey, if we're going on a road trip and we're making 5 stops for an 8-hour drive for gas stations, bathroom breaks, and here's my age. As we leave the house, I tell my 3 kids, tell my wife, y'all march back to the bathroom. Get your let's get it out, because we're going to hit the road and we're going to make some good time. And I am the first one when we get on the road. All right, who needs to go to the bathroom? It's like, really, Manning? You're starting to approach the 5-0 age, and now I'm the guy that's got the baby bladder, and I'm the one. And I think Houston and I have driven across this whole state many times together, and we both can kind of look at each other at about 60 miles. But you ready to stop? Yeah, man. Let's stop up here. And we're the ones that's telling our family, now y'all go to the bathroom. And I think I'm stopping more than they are. But what I'm getting at is when you pull into these little mom and pop shops or the QTs or the 7-Eleven, Circle Ks across the country, open that door for somebody. When you pull into the shopping place to go get your friggin' groceries, even though somebody left that friggin' cart out there, which is one of my biggest friggin' pet peeves, just grab the cart, take it back inside, say a little prayer for the person that didn't do it, and just put it. You don't even say nothing to them. I know there's a big guy out there that's got like millions of followers, the cart narc or whatever the hell he's called, and that dude's. I just hope he doesn't get shot someday for what he's doing. But he will throw magnets on people's cars if they're not taking their cart back up to the cart holder or to the store itself. And it's a pet peeve of mine too. I'd never do that to somebody, but it does. It just takes another minute out of your day to do your friggin' part. Open the door for somebody, taking somebody else's cart up there, just knocking it out, man. Saying yes, sir, no, ma'am, and thank you. I think we need to get back to basics on that across this whole country. I don't expect it from anybody when I go out in the public anymore, but I'm damn sure going to dish it out. And my kids are going to dish it out. My wife already does it. Just being thankful to be alive every friggin' day. And I think it starts with us, and hopefully that spreads more. And I know we're doing it as a group, but just I'm talking to the people in the chat out there. Y'all have sent me a lot of y'all have sent me amazing messages on LinkedIn, and I appreciate that. But small things go a long way.
Yep.
But so
Mike the Cucumber super chat. Thank you for violating my rights, deputy. So evidently there's something we missed, but it sounds like Mr. Cucumber got arrested recently, and he's not going down without a fight. So,
yeah. Well, Mr. Cucumber, I wish you the best of luck, man. I am not an attorney, so I'm not going to try to open up a can of that. All I can do is make.
This is a good question by somebody, EL. I don't know who this guy is, but is getting a cup of water at a place like Chipotle and filling it up with sweet tea instead theft? Could it be argued that by giving over the cup creates a civil contract, kind of like?
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and answer this because I put a public comment under Eric's Instagram post of this, and I know he gets so many he probably didn't even see it yet. However, this was Banning's comment just on my training experience as a law enforcement officer. If you go up there and say, hey, I'd like to just get a water, and they give you a cup. Okay, first of all, that's the kindness out of their own heart. They're not charging you for that styrofoam, plastic, whatever type of cup it is, and they're expecting you to go get water as you stated. So that verbal contract, I understand what Eric's talking about. But as soon as you go over there and then you get soda, tea, whatever it is, I believe that is theft. But if you, and I'm speaking for Texas, if you open up the law book and you look at the penal code, also it falls under shoplifting. So anybody in the state of Texas, be a police officer, bystander, looky-loo that sees it, if you see somebody shoplifting, you can stop them from doing that. And I hate thieves. There's a lot of people I hate, but I hate thieves. And yes, I believe that is theft, Eric. I'm curious to go back to that video and look at what everybody has said.
But is that not just water put in the cup?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But
I'll argue that. Is that not just water put in the cup?
Well,
dyed water.
Yeah, I understand that water comes with different dyes, and then you can call it Diet Coke, Dr. Pepper, whatever. But when you tell somebody something on your word, which this friggin' world was built on, was your word and a handshake, and you violate that, screw you, dude. You're going to get you're here in Texas. It's theft.
Okay, so in the state of Texas, theft, shoplifting is the primary statute covering all forms of theft, including shoplifting, by determine it's a person unlawfully appropriating property with the intent to deprive the owner.
And where does that break the law?
So you're depriving the owner.
Yeah, it's without their consent. You had their consent to get water. You decided to get something. Yep. And I know this is frivolous. It's small in terms, but if you have let's just say you have 40% of the population doing it, which I never hope it gets that way. You got 40%
Yeah.
of the population deceiving, going into these mom and pop markets. You're actually going to have a bottom line crisis in reference to monetary value of what they're doing for their business. Am I wrong?
Well,
No,
and
100%.
I'll go a step further. I worked the majority of my career in law enforcement as a school police officer, and I spent a lot of time with elementary age kids, and we would talk a lot about theft of a candy bar or bubble gum or those type of things, which value amount doesn't mean a lot, but it
Mhm.
is a stepping stone. If you got away with that so long, eventually I can get away with the next thing. And before you know it, it's, you know, a case of beer and, things like that. And it just gradually increases. I never met a thief that started off stealing cars before, they always stole something smaller before they did that. And
well,
so
eventually, man, you
that's
look
just
at
my
the
two
cost
cents.
of that, and you can literally nickel and dime somebody out of business with that. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're not careful. So, I mean, there really is a fine line right there because that little bit can actually destroy somebody, man, over an amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and if they're charging you $1.50 for extra sauce, they probably need you to just get water in the water cup.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, and I know we all feel the burn now when we're going to these restaurants, and there's a lot of flack on these guys from McDonald's, and you name the restaurant and everything. The price has gone up, but hey, the price has gone up for them too. And it right now. It's on some of the instances of what you're making. Sometimes it's
Mhm.
cheaper to go out to eat. Sometimes it's cheaper to eat in. And you got to make those proper plans with your family to not go broke anymore. And that's unless you're a multi friggin' millionaire. I know I'm not. I will be someday, but I know I'm not now.
Soon.
Yes, yes. Um, going back to that, Adam, I already had some questions on LinkedIn. How many books do you currently have out?
So 10, number 10 releases in May, and I'm working on book number 11. So,
Jeez.
uh,
And here's another question that I get that I've been meaning to ask you through text, but I've been busy. Um, for a person that is in 2025 that wants to write a book and they've got all the content together, what do they need to look at paying out of their pocket to an editor? And I'm talking ballpark prices, just from what you've heard or experienced.
yeah,
What what does it take somebody to take a good book in their opinion of what they're writing and getting that published? What does that cost? Kind of a
it
breakdown.
dep it depends. Are you hiring them from India, or are you hiring them in the United States of America? And it
Sure, it's
depends
a
on if
huge
you want
time
basic
difference.
editing, line editing, developmental editing. You know, you could go work with somebody at one of these box companies that's a bunch of nerds. That's all they know is books, and they've never actually written a book. Okay, but they know
Right.
books, and you're going to probably pay around. Well, some of them are going to charge you $199 to start, and by the time it's over, you're dropping about 20 grand. But your reputable ones are going to be about 13, 14 grand up front, and then 30% they're going to keep of all your royalties.
Okay.
But I know a guy who does that for a lot less, and the authors actually keep 100% of all the royalties, which is very rare in what we do, and that flat fee covers all the editing, and cover
Wow.
design and everything else. So it depends. You've got some that charge by the word and some that charge by the page. Um, but you want somebody that's actually worked in your genre, and I've actually helped 150 authors, and I've actually sold 250,000 books of my own. So, I like to work with people who are first responders. I like to work with cops. I like to work with, I'm helping a couple of MDs. They're coming on board this week, retired physicians. So I've helped psychologists. So, to answer your question, it depends.
Sure. Sure. Now, have you put yourself into the position with the company that you use or the amount of companies that you use to publish these to say, I'm going to bring in other authors and I either want a finder's fee and or I want something else in return for bringing you business, either a discount on my future book or whatnot. Is that even possible?
So the books that I put out, I get paid to put out.
Right.
And when authors come, so I don't pay anything. They actually pay me. And then I get a royalty, which I will not discuss on such a forum as this because it would violate my contract.
Sure.
But my authors, when I set them up, they go to 40,000 retailers around the world. We focus on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Target, and then they keep 100% of all the royalties.
Okay.
And so I don't have, I get a flat fee. I don't keep a single percent. And I do that because the very first contract I was offered, they said, hey, we love what you're doing. Here's a contract. We want to publish your book in a fine print. I had to agree to buy 5,000 copies of my book at $10 a copy in the first 12 months. That's 50 grand. I'm from Alabama, but that's 50 grand.
Right. And that's still 50 grand in Alabama.
I suck at math is what I'm getting at. Okay. And, but I was devastated. And so I want to put the power back in the hands of the author. And look, there's pros and cons to traditional publishing or what they call self-publishing or hybrid publishing. And I want to put the power back in the hands of the author. I want them to make the money. Okay. And so that's the advantage. And, you got to work your butt off, man. I started marketing this little book a year before it ever released.
Right.
And you just gotta work your tail off.
Well, you did a good job before I physically met you. Actually, Houston introduced us or whatnot. I've already had a copy of that book in my spare bathroom and in our bedroom. So you did a good job. And Mark, I want to give people, hey, if they're going to come spend some time in the extra bathroom for the amazing food that we made, they're going to have your book to read, man. And I figure there's no better place for quiet time and to get that in. So it'll be in there and it'll stay there. And if it disappears, somebody takes it with them, we'll buy another one and replace it. Yeah. So,
well, today's entry is entitled "Strong Enough for the Shield," and the verse is Psalm 18:35. I highly encourage you to go look it up. But these are applicable to every man and woman who puts on a uniform and that badge and that gun belt, that vest. It don't matter if you're starting day one with your FTO or if you've been in 30 years. This stuff will encourage you. It's real, and it's from somebody who's put on that uniform before and been on those calls.
It's almost like you're saying, man, that the power we needed 30 years ago is the same power we need today. Is that?
It's kind of like what I'm saying.
Hey, on a technical note, Houston, how far is the mic from you? Is it right in front of you on your desk?
Yeah, it's right there.
I mean, it's like when you pick it up, can you tap it a couple times? I want to see if the sound is actually transmitting. It's weird, man. It just you never sound it sounds almost a little echoey, and you usually don't have an echo in yours. And I'm just curious on what's causing it.
I don't know.
I'm excited to see what these videos we're going to check out tonight.
Here, try that again. Just count to 3.
1, 2, 3.
That's a little bit better. A little bit better.
Cool. I got it, I think.
Yep. There we go. That's much better. Thank you. Alan, thank you for going back there, and you changed your clothes. You didn't come back shirtless, but you changed your clothes. Yeah.
The numbers would have gotten a lot better. Do I need to undo a couple buttons?
Well, let's go to let's go to a video, man.
All right, let me see what we got here. All right, 3 hours ago this was posted, so hold on. There's a canine in the back of that car.
Oh yeah, missed those days.
Hey, they must be in West Texas.
Pretty flat.
It's green though. Can't be West Texas. They do have the Texas State Tree or the West Texas State Tree tumbleweeds. So we're only 40 seconds in, so no mics.
Still southbound. Let's continue getting spikes out first, please. And all right, he's losing the tire now. Probably got 901. Gets off the road. 901.
Oh,
All right, let's round robin up to this point, guys. What we know, those type of things. What are we concerned about right now? Now that this car and it looks like you're the only vehicle.
Adam Houston.
yeah. From the angle he's at, you concerned whether obviously if the driver has a weapon. I guess we're skipping past the whole why he stopped and why he initiated the stop part. Let's just presume everything's good there. From this point, does the driver have a weapon? We're going to assume he does. And I'll pass the buck on to Houston. I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
No, man, I'm going to tell you a lot of it. I think you have to wonder how impaired this guy is going to be. Because just from what little bit I could see, obviously, I mean, I think there was something wrong with him, whether he was under the influence or maybe there was a medical emergency or something. I mean, obviously, you're not going to know until you get in there. Especially when he just suddenly exited the road like that.
A blowout?
I'm just going to have to take theirs, Alan, because I had about a 15-minute pause on my side. So
Okay. So basically, two things that go to my mind. Okay. He was passing vehicles on the left shoulder, so he was intentionally trying to get away. So now we do have to be cautious. All of the majority of us that are on this call did work rural areas. So, I'm going to be working this by myself for maybe 10 minutes until I can get back up. Backup's going to be far away, at least 10 minutes. But you have one positive reinforcement. This officer has backup as a dog with him. But we also do have the active first aid. So we have to worry about the guns, things like that, the weapons, but we also have to worry about, somebody made the comment, could this person have been intoxicated? Because if they can't handle, a blowout, and I mean, they made an immediate right-hand turn. So that concerns me too. Are they impaired? Things like that. So
quite possibly.
Oh, he's got more than
plenty
himself.
Plenty of backup. They know something we don't.
Yep.
We're good. Sonny, get your dog. Get your dog.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it for just a second. I'm doing two things when I do that. But so does that change anything for you guys as we're responding to this call, that we know that there's backup? They know something we don't, clearly. I as soon as he got out of the vehicle, as soon as the deputy got out of the vehicle, I noticed he immediately went to his dog, but then he thought twice of it and went to the long rifle. Banning, can you speak to the fact of why he would make that?
If you look at the
change?
distance, so we can see it's an Axon display. Okay, that's the body camera footage. So it's going to be a fisheye view. So that vehicle is a little bit closer than what is stated in our visual reference on a video. However, anytime you're dialing up any type of distance would be the reason he is transitioning to a rifle. And a lot of felony stops, you're going to have, depending on the amount of officers there, if you have the availability to go to rifle versus pistol, it's sometimes a better, more, and I hate to use the terminology, a surgical choice for accuracy. We are absolutely responsible for any and all rounds if we have to discharge that. So you want surgical precision. And somebody in there and said bad tactics, and I'm going to respond with, show me your resume. You want
so let me back up just a second, Benning. I want one clarification. So he has the canine in his car. Why would he have not gotten the dog out instead and went and got the rifle? What are your thoughts there?
My thoughts right now, from what I can see on this pause screen and up until this point, I'm not seeing an open window and I'm not seeing a subject on foot. If I missed it, I apologize. But this
no, you're correct.
I
just that's what I wanted. A lot of people think just because the dog shows up, we're automatically going to deploy the dog, and that
a dog is probably going to be a 30 to 40% deployment method on somebody that uses dogs on what's called long lines for an extraction in a vehicle. And I speak with many years under or experience in reference to canine, and especially on these felony type of stops. Right now, it is not a dog issue. A dog is less than lethal, but can become lethal if not utilized properly. And I'll say it that way. But right now, this is not a dog deployable event.
correct. Okay. There's a comment in here about bad tactics. He's not behind cover. He went to get his rifle. I right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm going to go get my rifle. Would I have liked a little more angle? But the other thing is you can't suck up to the cover. You have to get away from the cover because guys, that's just a 10 door. A round's going to go right through it. And so we are taught, we work angles, things like that.
I think he's in a good spot right there where he's at. He's still got the engine block in front of him. Yeah, it's not much, but at least he's still going to be able to duck behind that.
And we're still, in the first initial movements. I think he's not going to stay there. I'm not going to, I haven't looked ahead except for to, what camera angle's next. But I really think that he's in cover of moving. I don't think he's going to get sucked into that door. I think that would be a bad place to be. But I think so far things are still playing out. And I think I did notice in the right before I hit pause, somebody yelled out, "Get your dog."
Yep.
So what that tells me is we've got enough guns on vehicle. Now we can get less lethal involved, and he can move to get the dog out, and then they can make a plan and how they're going to initiate next. So this is a long video, so I'm going to skip to the next video after the chase. So because so what they do, a lot of these is they'll show the whole body camera. We don't need to see, we already seen the accident. So I'm going to jump to the next officer and we'll kind of go from there. So this is the second or third vehicle.
Consider him heavily armed, please.
Heavily armed.
So I know nothing about this, but if there's two unmarks that are come pulling up, that definitely tells me they knew that something was up.
Subject's coming up. Hands up.
The door's open on the vehicle.
Got a gun. Drop it.
Mm-hmm.
Drop it.
Drop it.
Got a gun. Can't see it.
Drop it.
Drop it.
Can you repeat?
Good communication.
Bump it up. Bump it up.
Rifle up.
Can I have you come through and say again?
Hold.
Everyone hold.
Canine 7 shots fired. I got bolt cutters. Can we get a heads up? Grabbing bolt cutters. I'm coming down on your guys' left. Copy.
So I'm going to point out one thing. I'm a person that has not ever worked with a team that actually has a type 2 dog that is also bite. But when another officer steps back, you always let the dog lead. Don't ever get in the way of the dog,
Yep.
especially when he's amped up. Because your bun cheeks will have a big bite taken out of them.
And here's a false premise in reference to patrol dogs, narcotics dogs. For being a canine as long as I was, the dogs are not going to determine because you're wearing a patrol uniform. You're just
They don't know.
well, the movies and some of the sitcoms, and even unfortunately, some cops that are training this stuff across the country, which shame on them, stating, "Don't worry, you're in uniform. It's the dog is going to go right past you." That is the biggest crock of BS. Period. The dogs do not associate a uniform with being somebody that can't be bitten. So get that out of your friggin' mental housing group right now. Let's go. I know somebody had paid for a chat at Alan.
Yep.
So I'm going to take some of this here. Let's see. Calling out someone for having input on tactics for not being an officer is a condescending take. And that was because of my comment. When you see and say officers are poorly undertrained almost weekly, officers fuck up laws. They should know all the time. Bravo on half of that, because you're correct. Training is a major issue across the country. But when I said, show me your resume, it's like, if you're stating it's bad tactics, we're all watching this, I'm hoping for the first time. You must look at the full piece of pie before you state bad tactics. Even if you're Officer Schmuckatelli and you think you're the SWAT goddess and you're calling bad tactics, let's break that down and why. For whoever said that, I'm not saying you're wrong, but when I say show me your resume and show me why, is show me the things you may have learned. And I don't care if it was digitally learned on YouTube, and you may have learned it better than some officers, because some of the videos that y'all sent me, I could absolutely say that, because there are some bad folks out there with badges on, and I get that. So let's understand that in a bigger picture. So let's look at all the videos. Let's dissect the videos. That's why we do this with y'all. We're not saying we're experts in anything. We're giving you our experience on the news that we have on the streets, and I will own a wrong. If I'm wrong on something, Banning owns it, period. 100%.
So Houston, let me ask you this one. How many bullets was that? As a supervisor, lead investigator, that comment there, does that initial shoot bother you whatsoever?
I can't say that it necessarily bothers me, because obviously we couldn't see what was in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to tell from that perspective. Obviously, they quit firing, so the number of bullets doesn't matter. All that matters is it was enough to handle the situation.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't any more than it had to be, and it wasn't any less than it had to be. So, I mean, The number the number I'm going to tell you is it was enough.
No, I completely agree. I think one of the things that, yes, it sucks, but there were enough officers that had guns down range. It's not like we can all say, okay, I'm going to take shots this time. We have to eliminate the threat and then deal with the situation that from the aftermath afterwards. And you know, it's one of those consequences you have when you have a gun and you point them at police officers, or anybody else that has a gun. You know, they're generally going to start throwing lead both directions, and so I'm not going to wait my turn. So there's another comment here banning. You should have waited till the video was done to respond that way and had the same energy. Grady Judd says not enough bullets, and laughing emoji. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, we don't. And one thing we don't get on here, I know Grady Judd is a sheriff in Florida, and people have opinions of this and that. The show, we look at law, we look at criminals, we try to break down opinions, and that's what we do. We don't get on the political fence. Have I seen some ridiculous videos from some elected officials in reference to law enforcement? Absolutely. We're trying to get, absolutely, but that's not my arena. Our arena is here with our crowd here. And I love to hear that the opinions that y'all have on this. I especially love to hear the opinions of people that have no military and no law enforcement training. That's how we become better. We see it from your eyes. That's how we become better at this, believe it or not. Somebody made a comment on that's a horrible place to stop. So a commercial pilot bringing in a plane with 200 people on it has a real bumpy landing, and the people in the back are really quick to say, good God, man, other pilots would have got this. This would have been butter, but have no clue of the type of turbulence or whatever that pilot was dealing with coming on final approach. The same with these officers. This was a high-speed chase. They stopped where they stopped. They probably didn't want to violate another policy and back up on the highway going into traffic to get repositioned. They dealt how the cards were played. Were they right on it? No, but they adjusted on the fly, and this is an end result. Are we saying it's right? No. We're saying this is unfolding in front of us just like it is in front of y'all.
And I want to reiterate, we're not secondhand quarterbacking here. We are talking about from our eyes. We don't know everything that's going on. I really personally try not to read any of the wording that's on the window. But if you read it, it says high-speed chase ends in police shooting of a former deputy.
Oh,
okay.
gosh.
This guy knew the tactics of law enforcement. So not using proper tactics is probably a bad thing in this scenario. But what I will tell you is these guys, so what we're doing at this point, there's a couple things that happen in a situation in any law enforcement bad situation. It's the magnet rule. We get sucked to the incident. And good on these guys not getting sucked in, because they want to resolve the incident, but they want to resolve it sometimes too quickly. And what these guys did is they gained their ground. They stacked up. They went in as a team to, first they have to make sure the person is unarmed, and then they have to render medical if that is needed. And regardless if it's a past deputy, if it, innocent bystander, we don't know what the outcome of this is, but at the end of the day, they can't make them they can't become injured because they didn't handle the situation. If they rush in too quickly, it can be a bad thing. Some would say, well, they didn't get there quick enough so they could save his life. Well, you also have to make sure you don't rush in there too quick to become a casualty as well. So, all right, I'm going to let it play out so we can move on.
Forward. right, let's take the dog off. Copy that. All right, let's take the dog off. Copy that. House.
I just want to say good boy the whole time he's saying that. All right. So I have not seen this video. I do know about this circumstance. I read about this on LinkedIn. This is very recent. This was this year in Sacramento County, I believe, California, but this was a special team that was going to locate this subject, and so there's a reason why a suit is at the scene. There's a reason why undercover was involved, and so. I think that this guy should have known how to drive at a high rate of speed. So it makes me wonder if he was eliminating the need for the group to. I think he was trying to end it before law enforcement could end it for them, and so if that makes sense, what I'm trying to say, but
Yep.
It's sad that. That's where I'll go back into if you're having a bad day and you need somebody to talk to, I'll be that guy you can talk to. So reach out to me. Everybody has a bad day and we all need somebody to talk to. Don't keep it inside. Let it breathe. And we're here for each other. I don't care if you're law enforcement, if you're not law enforcement. Things happen. So.
What do you got lined up next, Alan?
I am working through, I was looking through the pictures there. So this next one is 3 days old. It says, so they got this video 3 days ago. It's Florida and September, biggie size. If you have it partaking, my Taco Villa is empty. So if anybody wants to deliver some, this small town doesn't have Uber or any of that stuff. So, all right. So here we go.
I'm asking you to step up. Everything else, put it on your car, man. Put it.
Man, I have to take my mom to the hospital, dog. Like,
Put it in your car. You taking longer than expected. I got it back today.
So to the guys here in the chat. So why would an officer? This is something that I don't think a lot of people recognize or understand. So why would he allow this guy to put a bunch of things in the car and not have them on him when he takes him to jail?
Well, you got the property issues, you've got all kinds of different things, and sometimes it's just easier to keep certain things in the car than it is to have to handle it, just depending upon what it is.
So here in Lubbock County, up at Lubbock County, they actually have their property machine is like a dry cleaners, and you can literally only take enough property that fits in a Ziploc bag. If it doesn't fit in that Ziploc bag, you end up having to take it to your office for inventory because they will not accept it at the jail. So if you had to take a bike or something like that, it's a whole different issue. And so like anything that we can like leave with the car, so if somebody's coming to pick up the car, we can leave that property because the jail will not accept it at that, for property. So
There's a lot of jails that are doing that now, and that's just because of the amount of real estate that people are bringing with them to the jail, and there's just not an area to keep that with, especially municipalities that aren't a county jail. If they're holding these people for 24 to 48 hours before county processes, there's no reason to bring the house and home with them. And I agree with that. I used to do everything I could to call a family member, call something, first of all, that's their property. And if we can send it home to where it's going to be safe and not inventoried with a vehicle, that's a big
So what does that mean? So we just got that question. Doesn't the car get inventoried and towed? So what is inventoried and towed? Like, what does inventorying a vehicle actually mean?
Man, inventorying doesn't mean exactly what you think it means. We're not going to sit there and write down every serial number of every little thing that's in your car. Personally, I don't care how many Chinese Charlie piece of crap tools you have in there. I really don't.
And I can speak for Houston and I on this because we worked together for 5-6 years before we both decided to pop smoke and retire. Houston and I didn't arrest people for little class C BS, meaning minority traffic stuff. If we could avoid a traffic warrant in a regional database, we would, because it's tying up the courts, it's tying up the jail. It's tying up the person getting arrested as well. Somebody had made a comment in here, stop arresting people for measly things. Well, a lot of cops don't, unless you have a felony warrant or do a felony in our presence or view. We were completing the traffic stop and going on, or completing the call for service and going on, and telling them, hey, you may have a warrant out of Dallas, or you may have a meaning for traffic. Or now, if this is a serious warrant, class B and above, assault, family violence with strangulation, something else. Obviously, we're going to grab that person and make them deal with it. But Houston and I both dealt with good leadership, and we dealt with bad leadership. But we, as supervisors on the street, were able to dictate what our officers would and wouldn't do in reference to representing law enforcement in a goodwill manner, to where we're not going to hem everybody up on traffic violations and stuff like that.
So what is the difference in inventory and search? I think that's a widely confused term.
I'll give somebody a quick and dirty on this. Banning always says 30,000 foot view. So here is just an X-ray from high above the scene. If you're inventorying a vehicle, it means that you're hooking them up or arresting them on a Class C warrant, and they're the only one in the vehicle more than likely, and we're going to inventory that vehicle because Houston and I both did this. We tried to get somebody to come pick up the car. And if somebody could not come pick it up, we were responsible for all the belongings. So we would inventory everything in there, from, like Houston said, we don't do, but when it came down to expensive items in the car, being a rifle in it or stereo in the trunk, we get the serial number, write it all in there, because that's going to go to a private impound lot. And we would give the impound company a copy of what we wrote down, kind of like hey, you don't work for us. We know it's going to your lot, but we put our trust in you that we see everything in the vehicle. The sheriff's office or police department is not going to be responsible for said items, and we don't want you to be responsible for it either. So here's a list. And so an inventory is going to inventory anything of value, even paper. We would put paper. If you had a big stack of paperwork in there and it could mean nothing to you, we're going to invoice or inventory that as miscellaneous paperwork containing 65 pages of receipts, personal notes, etc., and put that in there, and that's going to be placed in the glove box.
Yeah. It would become an unlawful search if you started tearing into panels. And most agencies have a standardized procedure they're going to go by for inventorying a vehicle that's being towed, meaning they're going to look in the the visible areas. They may open the glove box. I don't know. It depends on the agency. They're not going to be tearing into panels, pulling the spare tire out and crap like that.
And that's the difference. So Adam just made a good point on that. So what I was talking about was Houston and I and Adam and Alan, we're inventorying it. We're showing everything that's in the open to gain access to. We're going to make sure when that person gets out of jail or a family member gets all that property back. However, if we get up there and we have what's called probable cause and we're taking them to the jail based on that probable cause being drugs, a res geste statement of the person just committed a felony. And now we are searching the vehicle. Some of the times you may get a search warrant depending on the facts and circumstances. However, with that being a movable object, if it's drug related, the Supreme Court has stated that we may search the entire vehicle. And working drug interdiction years ago, I'm going to utilize a canine to narrow down my sources, because I never got in the habit of getting what you see on TV, like on Border Wars and drug interdiction files and stuff like that you can find on YouTube. We're not going to go drilling in and damaging a property unless we have a reason to get into that. Somebody's got 5 grams of methamphetamine sitting there in their ashtray of their 83 Buick LeSabre. We may search a little bit more, but that's probably just going to be a usable amount in there. So we'll do a quick sweep, find everything, make sure there's not a hidden compartment that's just kind of visible to law enforcement with their training and experience. But we're going to go down that road and look, but then we're going to make the arrest and take the vehicle. And people can what if and this and that, and cops do this and that. You have to follow that fine line. Otherwise, you're a POS cop, and I'm going to call them out as I see them.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Guys, this is like literally not rocket science. When you open the trunk to inventory the trunk to make sure, oh, that's a Under Armour bag. It's not like we're ripping open the bag. Like there's one Under Armour bag, but nobody said criminals are very intelligent. When you open the trunk and there's a kilo of Coke just laying there, it's not hidden under the tire. I mean, it's that obvious that we run into this stuff. Like now, guess what, guys? We own the car and we're going to get a search warrant for the rest of the car. Like that car's coming apart. And the department's going to own the car. Like unless there's a huge amount of money on that car. If there's a kilo of Coke sitting inside a car, that agency's about to auction that car off.
And to understand that, Alan's making that point on, it's going to go under search and seizure, and it's going to go to the civil side, and they're going to seize the vehicle. He's not just saying,
no.
That car, we're going to auction it, and it's going to buy us free lunches for a year. That's not what that means. It's got to be a serious offense, articulable facts. A lot of the times I got the DEA involved. The DEA would adopt the case, but it would have to be a serious deal for them to even be able to adopt it. I typically didn't do it with my county or our district, only because they would want to take 50-50, and I believe the department deserves more.
I love our chat. Oh, it makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. Or Wade Luceros, this one's great too. We open the box and there's a Glock switches in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I might need to go talk to that guy so I can figure out where he's getting them. Like, I might need one. Like, come on now.
Look a brother up. I'm just kidding.
Like, don't hold out. Like, come on now.
Oh my goodness.
So, any of this stuff, guys, like, why would we have, like, every agency has an inventory form. Why do we have an inventory form? Because somebody screwed up.
Yep.
And somebody probably went to prison because they didn't do an inventory of the car, or some tow truck company. I know of a tow truck company that there was a purse missing after the inventory was done. And if I wouldn't have filled out the inventory form, that lady's purse would not have reappeared all of a sudden.
And that's why I also appreciate body cameras being ran, obviously, the entirety of their call. Yeah. We can also go back to, because humans make mistakes, and you can go back to that officer's body camera and okay, somebody said something was taken against their consent, and now there's either going to be an offense on the police department or the towing company. And we can go to that body camera as part of that evidence. We can go back and now we're inventorying that body camera, right? So we're watching it. That more than likely a copy is going to go to the defendant's attorney that's making said claim, and we can kind of go through and do an inventory and see what the officer missed. And there in fact may be something missing. Before
there was this thing called body cameras banning. I would take a picture of the inside of the car.
Oh, I did.
And I took a picture of the trunk. I was not getting accused of stealing that Prada
That's
purse from a car. So, all right, I'm going to play this thing on, and let's go from there.
Put the phone on top of that. Put your hand on top of the car. Bro, I'm not telling you to put your hand in the back. Relax. No weapon on you? All right. No needle, no knives. Try not to speed this shit up. All right? Okay, that's fine. I don't mind. Okay, that's your car keys. All right. All right, turn around. All right, do me a favor. No. Leg forward.
Who in this panel is not cringing right now?
Sit down, bro.
Okay.
Cross your leg.
All right, look. Bring your feet out.
Okay, I'm trying.
Look.
I'm trying to be
Relax.
fast.
Bring your feet out and cross them. That's it. Bring your feet out. Look. You're not
Want me
listening.
to help you? Like this. I want you to do it like this and cross them.
That's it.
And just wait, okay? Give me a second. Watch it.
You go.
Your keys.
All right. So I heard it. Why? Okay. So there's a couple things here. He's at the vehicle, and every one of us have been standing at a vehicle when the guy does this right here. He's talking to him right here. No, just before that.
I don't mind.
He's like, I don't mind. So the guy's over explaining right here. He's like, hey, do you have anything in your pockets? I don't like what he said, but I'm not quarterbacking here. Okay.
I'm going to make an assumption. I'm going to make one assumption here that the officer that's doing this is probably fairly young in his career.
Yeah. Yeah. There was some things I noticed very quickly that I'm like, oh, but I know nothing about this. That's not why we're watching this video. So then I'm going to go back, and then one of us said it. I don't remember. I don't know who said it, but he said, hey, watch him. As he went to go do, went to go get gloves. Let me back up. Okay. So right here, why is he going to the effort of having him cross his legs? Why do we care about that?
The reason
slow him down
that most people care about it, and this goes back to a late 90s FTO style, was when you cross these legs, it gives you that extra half second to a second of they're uncrossing them, getting up and running. So a lot of the times that's what that did, is it added milliseconds to seconds of reacting if something were to happen. But I don't want to. And while we're here, Adam, or Alan, don't hit play. Brandar did some type of, what is that? Yen? Is that what he's doing? I'm sure that's from a VPN or something. I don't know why he's doing yen. I don't know what the conversion rate is. He said, so what proof would you have that the photo is from before you rummaged through the vehicle? Just saying. Hey, good question.
Now we have body camera.
Well, now we do, but even before, like when I was in there before, we had dash camera. Even in the beginning, we had VHS dash camera, and my guys knew that they had to have that thing on. They could not cancel it when the tow truck. It always had to be on. So you look at the timestamp of where the dash cam was from the time they used their department issued camera, which did a timestamp as well, and it may be a minute off. That we had a checks and balance. Was it perfect? No, but we were also working with a whole bunch of great officers that I never heard of or even heard accusations of people taking things. So I can only speak for my department. I'm sure there are other departments that are different out there, and you guys could probably leave a million of them on here, and that's awesome. But Mr. Billfold also says, can you guys verbally explain the difference between a Terry frisk and a search? Mr. Billfold, I have never in my career of 21 years, and a lot of it being, if you want to call it whatever, foot soldier doing a beat, had to use a Terry frisk. I never patted somebody down unless I had probable cause for an arrest. I never spoke to somebody unless they matched something from a call. So I know a lot of my partners have done that. There's probably some on this panel that may have actually used a Terry frisk, but I never had to do that in my career. I know it's there. I know it's legal, but I always had many, many more things to stop and arrest somebody and then pat them down to make sure they didn't have contraband on them. Great question, by the way.
Very good question.
Yeah.
So Harrison Brock, thank you. You gifted 10 memberships. If you've been watching, no, he did not get one. So I don't think he's ever going to get one at this point. One of our guests, if you're not familiar, one of our guests has never gotten. He's been a part of the show since the very, very early days, and he's never gotten one of the.
Blood, right?
It is Marine Blood, and now he's behind the scenes helping us.
I was gonna say,
now I don't know if he will get one. So, but thank you very much for always taking care of us, Harrison Brock. And
Brandar did classify that. And he said, at 2 Cops 1 Donut, got it, thanks. Yes, I am in Japan, not using my VPN to watch you with USA IP. We appreciate
that makes sense.
Brandar, from wherever you're at. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Let's see. And yes, Mr. Billfold said not a guest, he's a mod.
Correct. And I was trying to get that out, but I was, stepping on my tongue. So, so as an officer, the reason why one of us made the comment that he was about to bolt, certain actions from experience, all of us have, there's telltale signs when a person is about to run on you. And he is showing all of them, in my opinion. And I've experienced several. In law enforcement, we call them rabbits. I've had several rabbit, and knock on wood, have never had one get away. So
I had a track star run from me.
Yeah. I fortunately, I was pretty fast. I'm no longer fast. I'm afraid I'm going to hurt myself now, but
I was never the one to go catch them, man. I was always the one to finish.
Hold the scene.
Yeah. If they came my way, then we'll deal with it. But I was never the fast track star.
I was going to say, Houston, don't steal my thunder, because as soon as they took off on foot, as long as I had somebody else on scene, I'm the guy that hopped in my Tahoe or Crown Vic, and I gave a foot chase in a Crown Vic or a Tahoe, and waited till they got tired, and then Banning emerged. And
Banning, I thought you just slammed your foot down and it shook the ground so they would fall.
I can do that as well, but and I love talking to every one of our folks on here that have the cojones to make a comment, and thank you to each and every one of you. But what's your name again? Let me find it here. Mike Cucumber. He made a comment on here, said, I just get ignored. Brother, I try to highlight your comments on here. I try to highlight everybody's comments on here, and I appreciate each and every one of them. If I ignored one, I want you to make another one on there, title it at Banning, and I will read it aloud if time permits, brother. And I call everybody brother. I don't give a shit what your stance is on law enforcement or politics or anything. This show is for everybody. The whole reason Eric even contacted me or created 2 Cops, 1 Donut in general is to bridge the gap between the community and law enforcement.
Well, and here's the thing, guys. I've been doing this long enough behind the scenes. You only see this chat that we're watching. There's about 4 chats that I'm keeping up with that have comments on it. So we're to the point now, we have so many of them come through that we star the ones that we can. Not every comment's going to get read. You're going to have to step up your game to get them read, all read. And I apologize for that. It's just where we are. I don't even know how to keep a count of how many comments are said. So I'm going to keep us going. And this is let's see. This video is like 10 minutes, so we're not going to watch it all.
You're not
Want me to
listening.
help you? Like this. I want you to do it like
Where do you work at? Where do you work at? Do you work or you just stay at home? In Hialeah or in North Miami Beach? You know you can talk, right?
Can I stand up?
Can I stand up?
Because we told you to sit.
Why are you being so mean to me? Who's the one with the who's in my position?
How are we being mean and we didn't even talk?
Why do you let the phone hurt?
We're conducting an investigation. The phone doesn't need to be open. Why does the phone need to be open? She's not here. You're not even talking to her. Right now, when I hung it up, you weren't talking to her. And even if you were talking to her, I would have took the phone and I would have hung it up and I would have put it there anyways.
Can I ask why you guys want to?
What?
Can I ask what you guys want to know?
What?
Can I ask what you guys want to know? Like, you say I can talk and I'm like...
He tried talking to you before. You would have been in the car the whole time if you just complied with him at first. You didn't, which is why you ended up out here.
He asked if I had any weapons. I said no.
Okay?
I complied.
There was times before that where you didn't. You didn't even want to sit down. We had to help you sit down.
I was shaking. You saw how I was shaking, man.
And I tried talking to you, and you ignored me. He tried talking to you, you ignored him.
You know what happens when you're having a panic attack?
Yes, that's the point. You talk it through, and that's what I was trying to do with you. But you ignored the fuck out of us. So whatever.
I didn't ignore you.
You see how you don't talk, right? And then when you want something from me, you want me to talk to you, right? You see this, right? So now if you ask me something and I ignore you, don't say anything.
Okay. So, what do you guys think up to that point? Just her conversation back and forth.
He was just distracting her before he took off.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Houston, what else you got on that?
I'm trying to figure out why the cop didn't do her job and stop him from getting in the car. Holy crap. Because, I mean, like, there was ample opportunity for that to happen.
And I will say, after he did get in the car, I'm actually pretty. I'm okay with her not getting herself injured and backing. You know,
well, and
the
I
point
agree.
she made a decision to. Okay, I lost that fight, and live to fight another day. But I think she, it. I don't know. It felt like maybe she could have done a little bit more to keep him out of the driver's seat.
Oh, that's exactly what I'm leaning
And
towards.
where did the other officer go? Like,
he's in the passenger seat of the patrol unit. I don't know if he's running the 20, he's doing the, if he's checking 43s or background or, yeah, I saw your eyebrows rise there a little bit, Adam. What's going on in your mind there?
well, you had enough of a concern to get him out of a vehicle and sit him down and have him cross his legs, and then you leave him with one officer while you go and sit in the car to do whatever. And I'm sure it's, you're running background check, warrant search, or warrant checks, whatever. They could have, I guess he could have done that standing there, but he probably doesn't have an earpiece in, so the guy would have heard everything.
You wear earpieces today in policing? Come on.
I've been out a long time, bro.
Eric's ears are rolling right now because that's like one of his biggest pet peeves.
I look at all these new cops videos that people send me, and they're amazing. Don't stop sending them. LinkedIn is the best platform to send me stuff. And I wake up every morning after a show with 80 to 200 to sometimes 250 messages based on the night before and or new stuff people want me to watch. And I eventually get to every single one, but work and family comes first. And then I come back to these questions. But what I'm getting is, I may have only had 21 plus years in law enforcement, but Houston can attest to this. I didn't get somebody out of the car unless I had something major on them. That is their car. I do my damnedest not to violate somebody's Fourth Amendment, even just on the initial traffic stop. Houston knows me. Houston did the same thing.
I mean,
We would have 2 to 3 things on a car before we even stopped it. And usually a lot of that came off the license plate. Okay, this is something to look at. I mean, here's the deal. You can't be a hypocrite. I speed sometimes when I'm off. By God, if I get stopped, I wasn't the one that went down and grabbed my, credential. I never carried a badge with me, but I had my departmental ID that was behind my driver's license, and you pull that driver's license out and give it to them. If you're the one that pulled out a departmental ID and you showed your badge, oh my goodness, this and that, don't do that. Just tell them, hey. Obviously if you're working and you're an undercover vehicle, that's different. You tell them, hey, write me the citation for what you're doing. By the way, I'm on the job. We're following this person, yada, 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 call for service number, then boom. But you still, if you're out there violating the law, you're violating the law, and you deserve a ticket, just like the average motorist going down the roadway. I've written cops tickets. I've arrested cops. I've arrested firemen. I've arrested federal law enforcement. And I hate to say that. I would like to say I've never arrested one cop in my career. All cops are great. They're not. I'd be lying to my friggin' teeth if I said that. Are the majority of them great? Yes. Are there some bad apples out there that are making all of us look like shit? You bet. And someday I will build a bar, and Alan and Eric are probably sick of hearing about this, but I'm going to build an amazing bar, and I'm going to invite all these POS people that we all have a problem with that are making our shit look bad out here. And we're going to have a big, what I call, come to Jesus meeting. We're going to have a big punching machine in there, and we're going to have a competition. And sometimes that bag's going to turn into somebody else. I'm going to stop it right there. But go ahead, Alan. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So good. Freedom Keys. Sorry, I missed the Raz for the detention. Anyone? ? Also, never talk to cops. I completely agree. I actually said it to somebody in my family today. I don't answer questions. Period. If you've talking about the Landman show earlier, if anybody saw the last episode, I don't answer questions. If anything ever happened in that bad scenario, I don't answer questions. And I don't know, but we're only working with all the information we're giving on these videos, and sometimes we don't, like, this traffic stop already started with him out of the vehicle, so we don't really know if they have a warrant for this individual. Like Mr. Billfold, I actually live 30 miles from where Landman is hosted, and 2 of these individuals are actually in the fake city where Landman is aired.
Yes.
So,
we've gotten to meet Billy Bob before, man, and he's a really cool guy. Just going to say it.
Yeah.
So is Taylor Sheridan, by the way.
Yeah. So,
and Houston actually used to work a lot of security behind the scenes on Landman. Landman is, if you look up Jacksboro, Texas for filming locations, Landman was filmed here. My wife and daughter got to sit back and for about 15 minutes talk to Billy Bob Thornton, because that's the type of dude that will come out and see a crowd that wants to meet him, and he realizes that crowd is what makes his money. And he takes the time between sets and calls to come out and shake people's hand, take pictures with them, because that's his meal ticket. I wish more A-listers would do that. And he sat with my daughter and wife and did pictures and talked to my daughter. And we're just a normal family up here. We're not anybody. And that dude actually took the time to do it. But Houston used to work security on the set and behind the scenes. And they took care of Houston. They took care of the deputies that did that.
Good people.
So that's really cool that it'll mute when you start coughing. All right, so I'm going to play it. The pursuit's been going on for a minute.
Subject, look your flash Total 17. Vehicles approaching Miami Gardens from 19th Avenue.
356 is a white male fleeing, blue top, gray bottoms.
Unit 315. Miami Gardens from 19th Avenue.
I have a question. Everybody heard that noise? Why does every one of us perk up when we hear that noise?
Is a white male fleeing, blue top, gray
Right
bottoms.
here.
Because we got warrants.
I think that was the emergency button on the phone or the radio where dispatch took over everybody's phone or everybody's radio. So there's a button that can be pressed by an officer where it opens the mic it depends on the agency, but can open for 30 seconds and then it'll die for 30 seconds and open for 30 seconds. So if you were shot and you couldn't get to your radio, if you are able to hit that button, you can just start talking in the air and at least dispatch will hear you. Or if people are keyed up and they won't quit talking on the radio, on the other side, dispatch can hit a button and they can take over everybody's radio and kill anybody that's keyed up and they can get a call out. So anyway, I'm just pointing that out.
Unit 315. Miami Gardens from 19th Avenue. Right now, gray top, blue bottom.
Yeah, on the ground.
Ask, tell, make.
Get on the ground. Yeah, on the ground.
Turn around, bro. Turn around.
I got him.
That could have been a lot worse.
Okay, so I'm sorry, guys. I can't watch that because I will say that was bad tactics. If I'm going to take you to the ground, I'm taking you to the ground, period. I don't care if you're banning and I'm my 190-pound self. If I got in this line of work and you need to be put in cuffs, you need to do your job.
Yep.
And that's how people get hurt. First off, we shouldn't have ever been in the situation to be pursuing this person in a car. It should have been dealt with on the side of the road. I was trying to, give them a benefit of the doubt for a minute, but we need to do our jobs and go to work.
Hey, there's a comment that I saw. I mean, there's a lot of amazing comments. So Ryan Landis 6849. When you jump out of your cruiser to run after somebody, is there anything keeping that cruiser from being stolen? I'm not going to go right into what if a lot of departments have on there for anti-theft devices. The last agency I was with, we had this many, 0. And I watched a drunk female.
Yeah.
Yeah, Houston saw it too.
Yeah, that was funny.
So let me break this down here. Make this screen small for a second because I'm going to talk for about 2 minutes. Not that people need to see my face. But I was called by dispatch and I was out of town. I never got to go out of town because of my position at the sheriff's office, but I decided to make an executive decision, and it was the worst night to do it. My phone started blowing up from deputies on scene. When I say deputies, there was only 2 on because one was an FTO and one was training, and he was at the end of training. And they had stopped a vehicle for possibly being DWI or driving while intoxicated. And they met those elements when they got behind the vehicle and observed the vehicle for several miles driving. They initiated the traffic stop, got the vehicle to pull over. The FTO the trainee made the passenger side window and even through what's called a rage estate statement from the driver stated, "I'm drunk, I shouldn't be driving." So it led to the field sobriety tests. You have the one leg stand, the walk and turn, and HGN, which is called horizontal gaze nystagmus. Said subject failed all three to a extreme of we're probably going to stop by the hospital before said subject goes to jail. They made the arrest without a fight. Nothing went bad. But as said subject was in the back seat and they were inventorying the vehicle for the DWI waiting on the tow truck, they were talking about 2 nights prior when they were on shift together training when a bull tried to kill them both and they almost shot each other. Again, we're in the backwoods out here, so I got to press that. And that was something else I was investigating on top of it. As the supervisor over the, oh my God, sheriff's office. And then you see in the video, both officers state, okay, we're going to take her to jail for DWI. She said it was her boyfriend's truck and she was on her way to see her kids that the state had custody of. Unfortunately, don't know all the details, don't care. And then you see the patrol car. There's only one behind the vehicle because they're training. The patrol car took off on its own. And then the FTO that's standing there gets on the radio and lets dispatch know. I'm sorry, there's 2 patrol cars there because it was called Ghost Phase. So they had a brand new Tahoe behind that Explorer that belonged to the trainee. And then the FTO had a brand new Tahoe with about 300 miles on it. And then the chase started. The chase went for almost an hour of this intoxicated female in this Explorer that had a full tank. And she let everybody know it had a full tank because she picked up the radio and said, this bitch has got a full tank. Let's see how far this MF goes. It's all on video. I'm not going to say I have custody of that video because that would be weird. Anyway, and it goes into the next county. And then she tried to hit the next county's patrol supervisor with said vehicle while trying to get the AR out of the deal. And that sergeant unloaded an entire round into the front window of the deputy's vehicle trying to stop her. And all I have comment on that is that sergeant needs to go back to the firing range. Because if you ever heard the comment of that guy couldn't hit the side of a broad barn. Anyway, nobody died. Thank God. Female was taken into custody. Vehicle was spiked twice. Houston, in your opinion, what's the value of said Explorer since it's going to go to the auction block?
In that shape, absolutely nothing.
Wait a minute. What was it worth before?
It was about $175.
Yeah,
because we had shit vehicles.
Yeah,
I mean, it was an Exploder, so come on now.
Yeah, it was an Exploder, and it had already been retired, I believe, from Houston PD.
So it wasn't like a brand new unit.
Oh hell no. No, this was this thing was probably pushing 280,000 miles on it as one of our lower mileage vehicles as an Exploder. And I have no clue on where I was going at with that. But
it's a good story, though. It's a good story.
How many of you FTOs? So I was being FTO'd. So I was a rookie officer. I was probably 2 weeks in. I go to one of my first calls by myself, and I don't know, it's probably like a domestic I mean, there's no reason for other officers to be there with me. So it's like a theft report or something. And after I come out of the house, my patrol car is gone. I don't know where it's at. I literally had to walk back to my department without knowing where my car is. I've already radioed my sergeant, and he will not come to me. So during my call, I left my unit unlocked, and my fellow officers took my car and drove it around the corner and left me without wheels. So I never left my vehicle unlocked. I locked myself out of my vehicle several times.
Bad feeling.
But I learned very quickly that I didn't want to be that guy.
So we all have jokes in whatever career that you're in. We mess with our coworkers, and as long as it's not on the taxpayer's dollar, I don't have a problem with it, and it's within your own break time. So we had an officer that bought a new car. I'm not going to say the brand because I don't want to spark a political debate. Let's just say the car was light enough to where 5 officers could actually physically pick up said car and place it in the Sally port right before shift change. And that may or may not have happened. And there may have been broken glass from a previous call that had no evidentiary value that was placed where the driver's window was of said officer's car. And we all, I'm gonna give you this breakdown. Usually at 6 a.m. when midnight guys are getting off, they're in their car at 5:59 to get home to their family, to get sleep, do a family thing really quick, get to sleep, and then come back and do it all over for another 12-hour shift. But this is the first time I believe our entire shift, and this is when I worked at a larger department, sat in their cars with their portable radio still on to hear this officer get on the radio when he came out and saw his parking spot had a missing car that was his with what appeared to be broken glass laying on the ground, and hear his despair as he reported his car missing. And dispatch was aware, everybody was aware. This was a joke on somebody that finally got out of training. We did not want it to escalate to him actually using his radio and now I was not in control of said joke, but I was there as a volunteer witness, I guess you could say. This is way before supervisor days and doing dumb shit. And to watch him get on the radio and he pulled out a piece of paper or his phone and started spouting off his VIN number on the vehicle that he just purchased because it was all docu-signed online, and he's telling dispatch to report it as stolen. We went over there, got it stopped. They're like, "Hey, your car's not stolen." And this was back in 2008, 2009, just to age myself. And we stopped it really quick. But for him to realize that his car was actually not stolen and parked in the Sally port without a broken window was priceless. It was absolutely priceless. And he became an outstanding officer. I believe he got Officer of the Year one year. He was so good. But you do that banter back and forth. And again, like I said, as long as it does not involve taxpayer money and you're roughing with somebody, it doesn't matter what job you're working in, you're going to have that banter back and forth. And I know he is still there. I believe he's picked up some rank now, and he's probably a badass supervisor as well.
Well, that brings up a good point, Banning. One of the comments or one of the things that goes through my mind when we hear about like fraternities, sororities, and hazing, things like that, law enforcement, we have a good time. There are things that we pick on each other. We do things, but it's all like for the most part. I'm sure there's stuff out there that's not appropriate. Okay, but
Right.
What they did to me, oh man, that was the funniest thing. I mean, I got my feelings hurt, but it was such a learning lesson for me that like I always double check my vehicle now. Like it's not going to be, because it was like, what if that would have been somebody just walking down the street and took my patrol car?
Oh, absolutely.
And so
terrible.
Like, and Eric will bring it up, when you're briefing and some of the things that go on and the way we talk to each other at briefing, what's like there is that fine line, but it wouldn't be the brotherhood without that razzing and that kind of talk with each other. I don't know, like,
Yeah, that's what kind of makes it great, though, man. Because we can pick on each other, we can beat each other up, we can do all these other things, but we're not going to let somebody else do it.
Right.
mhm.
And
That's
let me
what's awesome about it. Like any true good brotherhood
and
out there. I mean, we're
and
going to do those things.
absolutely, and I'm gonna pick on, not pick on, but I'm going to highlight Houston in training an officer. And we're not going to say his name because
I already know where you're going.
it's probably going to go number 2 here in a second when I bring up what you did to each other. So in a police department, when we're training, Houston and I were training somebody. In reality, we didn't bring up politics. You have rules, departmental rules, state laws, local municipal laws, ordinances, everything that we're training somebody. However, Houston would be more vocal on some things in his off time than I would, because I was doing a nonprofit. I was doing this and that, and Houston was very proud, and for rightly so, on some things. But Houston and I both got said officer. I think I can't remember. Maybe Houston had him first, or I did. I can't remember.
I had him first.
You had him first. But that's right. And this rookie in his first phase of training. Now I want to say something here. This was not a typical rookie. This guy was Houston and I's age, maybe off by a year. He got into law enforcement late in life. He's not a bad cop at all. He's actually
turned out to be a pretty
decent cop. But that said trainee made a political statement to Houston and I, and we decided to run with it as a joke. And we made sure trainee that was our age was okay with it. But the joke carried on so much, again, not cutting into taxpayer time, but to where, let's just say, Republican and Democrat toilet paper was used in people's offices as jokes. But, and I would get calls from this rookie, hey, Houston did this. Is that cool? And then Houston would call me, this sorry son of a bitch did this to my office. And I'm like, but when you saw them on a call or a domestic or an accident, business was 100% spot on. They did everything by the book on everything. And this was banter stuff that I know goes on in every other profession. Now, if this kind of stuff was slowing down performance or making somebody late to a call or to where anybody else's life outside of said circle, then there would be an issue with it. But Houston's professionalism took that to another level. And I just want to highlight that because he or I never got political. But if somebody came in and were like, blah, 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 we would jack with them a little bit, but made sure it wasn't on the taxpayer's dime. And it was so great. And that person is still a law enforcement today. Or, you and I are now checked out, retired, and he's still a cop today. And I think, I don't work with him anymore, but I think he's doing a great job. But it's just, it's awesome what you get to do as an FTO. And we think about ourselves going back 20 plus years of when we were an FTO. Good Lord. I mean, my FTOs used to spray OC spray on my Crown Vic handle, then sprayed OC spray in all the vents. And then I was going to go to a call by myself in ghost phase. It's 105 degrees in Texas. I get out in my car, hot call, get in my car. First of all, I'm using my hand to open that up, get OC all over my hand. Then I get in the car and turn the AC on high. Not only was OC spray in vents, so was baby powder.
Nice.
You get liquid with a powder and it gets all over your face, and then it doesn't feel good. It feels like a can of jalapenos going all over you, and now you're going to a rollover accident. That sucked, but it was all part of it when I was in training. But Houston and I would have fun, but we never slow somebody down from going to a call or that type of thing, just to have some
we never did any. I can say I never did anything, man, that would keep them from being able to safely get to a call quickly too.
Yeah.
never screwed with their equipment or anything like that. That's bad.
And somebody made a comment here. I'm trying to keep up with them, but somebody said, I'm guessing one thing you don't do in law enforcement is jump scare each other. That could end badly.
Oh, you
You know what? Ryan Landis, 6849, you have a point. And so I'm going to bring up a story really fast, and we'll get back to our video. I know I'm talking a lot tonight, guys. I've had a lot of time this week to think about things. I was on patrol. This is back in my Haltom City
That's
days.
a big head. That's a lot of thinking.
It is, man. I got a huge head with a lot of air in it and zero brain cells. So I was on patrol one night, and as a matter of fact, I had my wife with me. She had just gotten off dispatch, and she was doing one of her quarterly ride-outs. And we both knew, based off of GPS, on where this other officer, who is now retired, he's an amazing officer. I love him to death. Would sit at, and he would utilize his coffee break or his lunch break in this one location. And he would back into this corner, very smart, to make sure that he could see what was called Belknap Street when I worked in Haltom City, which is a very busy street. And even though he was on a break, he would keep an eye on this stop sign that we had some fatal accidents at. And he was eating a sandwich and watching a talk show on his phone or computer because it was his time to take that break. And we had 2 breaks every shift. And what I did was there was a little tiny cutout. Okay, you can make your jokes now, but I fit through it back then. And
Yes.
I walked up to his car. I knew his window would be down because he wanted to hear ambient sound outside of his vehicle while he was watching this thing, listening to the radio, and he was very attuned to his surroundings. And I used to jack with him, and I said, man, you're watching your show. You wouldn't know if somebody came up to do bad things to you. And this is going back to the comment that Ryan just said. And I literally was able to walk up let's say the B frame of the car, and I was just outside of his rear view. And then I got up to where I could see his left ear, his nose, and his mouth. He had his device up that he was watching stuff up, watching this, and he knew behind him was closed off. So he wasn't really paying attention to that. There's not many people are going to go squeeze through this fence like I did. And all I said was, hey, Tim, you doing all right? And I watched somebody's soul exit their body. This is somebody that was a damn good officer. He was a DWI expert, a family violence guy that would truly follow up with a victim, get them needed assistance. He was the drug guy around the elementary and middle schools to keep drugs away. He was an all-around 360, great cop, received many awards while he was there. Just a good dude. And then as he cringed and he went down to his right side of his belt and he looked over and he goes, Jesus, Banning, if I didn't recognize your voice, I'd put 5 rounds into you. And it was one of those things that all I wanted to do was say, hey, Tim, make sure you're always watching your 6 as well. And I cringed a little bit. I'm like, oh, God, I didn't want to get shot in front of my newly married, beautiful. I married way up in life in front of her looking through the fence. And I got some stories there, but we'll never go into them. But it's amazing, man. But what happened in that scenario? The dude never parked there anymore. He went to the PD and started doing his breaks inside the PD to where he could have a full 360 of safety, and it was all in good fun. So, Alan, if you want to go back to that video.
Yeah, so we have another video here. We'll end it on this one. But Marine Blood, I sent you a Discord message. I don't know if it dings. I'm still learning Discord, so so we're gonna hit all the little buttons here and Biggie size. That's a lost phrase.
Wait, pull over.
He's not gonna stop, is he? He's not gonna stop.
Hey, pull over. Stop. Stop that.
I have to say, I was pretty fast. I'm not e-bike fast.
No,
I'm not
no,
e-bike fast.
I would have been utilizing that vehicle on the e-bike sidewalk, dude.
Yeah, I completely. Annie, I know you're that guy. I
Yeah.
know you're that guy.
I am.
So I was
I
at the call. So we had a Big Gabe and Little Gabe in my department, and so Big Gabe was detective, big guy, muscle, always working out, always won his fights and or his de-escalation events. But this guy ran from him, and they were near the highway, and this truck drove up next to him, and he jumped in the back of the truck and told the truck driver to catch the car or catch the guy that was running, and did the whole Baywatch out of the back of the truck. And I'm standing back at the vehicle, just shaking my head going, did I just see that? Oh, but anyway, okay, so we're keep this video going. I mean, he's motivated.
Hey, stop. Hey, stop. Oh, fire. Shots fired, shots fired. Drop the gun.
I'm going to let it play out, and then we'll talk about it, guys.
He's right here. We're taking him outside, see. Hey, it's cool. We're moving up, taking him outside, see.
Taking him outside, see.
You shot me already 3 times.
All right.
That sucks, man. It looks
so,
like
he goes chasing him, does a good chase, all those things, Banning team. But the moment that he saw the gun, the oh shit factor hit the roof, and you could tell by his body, like, so if you've never worn a body worn camera, it's on your chest. Most of them are on your chest. And so until you learn body camera, what do they call it? Discipline. He was like, shit factor, trying to get his gun out, stop running downhill, and did a great job of slowing, getting his OODA loop under control. So once he witnessed it, a few seconds go by, he gets his gun pointed down range. And so is there, I mean, what could have he done different in that situation?
I mean, the dude, he gave him a lawful command to stop. He refused to stop. The guy pulled a gun on him. He didn't drop the weapon. I mean, that's pretty clean to me. Unfortunately, that's the way it's got to go. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Penny.
No, you're good. We don't know all the details. We know what everybody else just saw in this video, and he's and Alan, my internet keeps freezing on me. So when you were speaking, I only caught probably 40% of it.
I think West Texas internet is screwing up because yes, I have the videos downloaded. So I've learned that. So I apologize, guys. The video we just watched, shout out to them. I didn't do that earlier. Came from police activity. Activity. It was high speed chase ends in a police shooting. No, that's not it. Police shooting after suspect fires during a foot pursuit. So if you go to police activity on YouTube, you can see the video where it's not pausing, but
Right.
the subject does banish a weapon. You don't see it, but for a brief second, I had to watch it a couple times to see if I actually could see it in the video. And then the officer fires. He's in the wooded area. I think some might question why he didn't go and render first aid, and I don't think he was in a location by himself where he could do that until his backup got there.
Sure.
I think everything that I saw, except for critiquing the fact that he was chasing an e-bike, I'm not going to be able to chase an e-bike. He'd have gotten away from me. I'm not that fast. So kudos to him for being able to, staying in the chase. And but in that scenario, what do you do if you can't keep up with him? All you can do is be your best witness. Is all I know to do. Is there anything else you guys can think of?
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, man, I mean, you've got your video, and maybe you'll find somebody that knows the guy in the department. Time's on your side at that point. But I also wasn't there, and I don't know why the officer did what he did to go running after somebody on an e-bike. Because I'm like you, dude. I wouldn't have even come close to catching him.
No, absolutely not.
No. We had that issue here, Houston, a few years ago of when the state precluded that they could have side-by-sides and motorcycles on public streets up to 45 miles an hour with or without a registration, as long as safety equipment was in place. And as soon as I'm told that, when you see them, you see them. As long as they're not acting a fool, let them do their thing. The state's going to make their laws, and you go forward and you look for other things. And we would get call upon call upon call. Oh, Schmuckatelli is driving a side-by-side down a residential street and there's no license plate. Well, at the time, it wasn't illegal. So I would usually have to get the number from dispatch who called, who wanted contact, and I would contact them as just like Houston was at the time. We were both sergeants for the agency, and we'd call them and be like, ma'am, your fight right now is with legislation. Call Austin or call your local rep. And make your complaint, because right now it's not illegal, and I'm not going to go jack with somebody when they're not technically breaking the law. I'm sorry it's upsetting you, but there's nothing that law enforcement can do. And now if you see them on 380, which is a highway that's above 45 miles an hour or said by legislation, or there's a child sitting in maybe the back area with no helmet on a public street, then maybe watch your kid, make sure there's a helmet on them based on set of laws. But there's a lot of people that get upset when they see that stuff. But when it's not against the law, go back in your damn house, go watch TV, go or go do something in the backyard if that's upsetting you. And I hated to tell people that, but it's like, thank you for voicing your concern, but it's not against the law right now. And I know that was all over the whole state of Texas. I don't think it was so much in Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, big cities. It was more of the rural cities when that came out. And it is what it is. And you can't enforce something if it's not there.
Well, I do think like Texas is going to have to get ahead of it. One of the problems that we've all suffered from being officers in this state is only having legislation and new laws every 2 years. E-bikes are, and how they're classified, everything up to this point for like mopeds and things like that are based off of CCs. And now that we have all these bikes and licensing and things like that with e-bikes, we're going to have to get up to speed on what is classified and required to be registered versus a bicycle. It's definitely going to be a problem. Technology wise, you can get a really nice bike that'll outrun a dirt bike that would still be considered a low e-bike in Texas. So well, gentlemen, Adam, Houston, can you tell us what you got coming up and tell us what we need to know.
Send it, Houston.
Well, sir, I don't have just a whole lot coming up right now, except just a couple of doctor's appointments. Just trying to be a good boy, do my due diligence for the next couple of weeks to keep my wife off my ass, and we're good to go. No, seriously, man, she's the best thing that I got going for me, man. So I'm going to do exactly what the doc says, because I want to keep living.
Yes.
But nah, man, just basically living life and doing my thing every day and just trying to stay upright till tomorrow, and we're good.
And Houston's doing a great job at that. And once I get through what's called sales kickoff for my company next week, I'm going to start making more posts with Houston and I, probably driving across the great state of Texas, peddling what Mark 43 does, the company that I work for full time for, because their product's so amazing. And Houston is a reseller for it. And we're going to make some more posts on that. So if you're not on LinkedIn following Houston and I say follow, but be connected to us, and you can send us direct messages also on the Discord channel. I wish Adam even had the time to come work with a company that worked with Mark 43, but what he's doing in his space,
I love it.
Is amazing. Oh, can you imagine if the three of us were working? I mean, that would just be a great time, man. But Adam, and I'm sure Alan's going to put your website up again. What, if somebody was not in law enforcement, they may like what we're doing on this show. Mm-hmm. What recommendation, Adam, would you have for them on where to start with your books? If it was in reference to not so much self-help,
right?
Maybe gratitude, making their life better. What would you suggest on a reading list of them? Where to start off your list?
Well, even if you dislike law enforcement officers and you're watching this, I'm going to shamelessly plug the best-selling book I have.
See, I didn't even have to put it up there. He made my life so much easier.
I met a gentleman right after this book came out. He had been mistreated by some law enforcement officers, and he and I are connected because he follows Jesus, and so do I. And I challenged him. I bought this book for him at Barnes & Noble, gave it to him, and challenged him to look at it every day and pray for the people that mistreated him. But more than that, buy them and give them away. Give them to your local law enforcement. But one of my very favorite things, and this is not mine, it's called the 5-Minute Journal. I'm not an affiliate at all. This will absolutely change the way you start and end your day. It's just a simple way to start. It's got prompts. I love this. This is a brand new one for this year. And starts the day writing down what you're grateful for, what would make the day great, and some other things. But the 5-Minute Journal, I highly recommend it. I absolutely love it. I've gone through a ton of them. But, I got Bulletproof Marriage. If you're military, first responder, you're married, finalist for Best Christian Book of the Year in 2020. Bulletproof Marriage. I narrated the audiobook with Chris Kyle's widow, Taya Kyle. And so I've been very blessed. I don't really focus on self-help. I think it's useless. But I do think we have to take responsibility for developing healthy, productive habits and have the discipline to do that and not expect somebody else to do it. So I appreciate y'all giving me a chance to hang out with y'all a little bit tonight. And I do apologize for being late.
No, you're never late when you show up. So we appreciate you being on. Appreciate all of you guys for spending the night with us. We try to do this every Monday night. We're real, next week, I will probably be out of pocket. I know Banning will. Not sure when Eric is
Can be available even.
going to be available, because I know there's an event possibly for him as well. And so, but we look forward to having some more guests on. We want to keep this thing going strong. I know Eric is popping in and out. We have a couple things behind the scenes in the works on doing some stuff a little different, and just bring you guys into what we're doing. And that's going to be a lot of fun. We're excited about that. And so we're just trying to interact with you the best we can, and have a good time. I think all of us enjoy this. I do it every week just because my family knows we pretty much plan our schedule around us trying to be here, just from the interactions that I've gotten to connect with everybody. So
It's fun.
And
so I appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Gentlemen, stay on with us. But we want to thank everybody for following us and participating and making us what we are. And to even have this wouldn't be anything without you guys. So appreciate you very much.
Real quickly to our sponsors, Ghost Patch, help me out,
Yes.
Alan. Let's list them all real quick.
Ghost Patch, Peregrine, let's see, with Retro Rifle.
Yep.
I've got one on. It was funny. My wife's like, "Where did that one come from?" I was like, "Oh, that one's been in the closet for a while. Don't ask anymore." And if you like what's going on here and you haven't been a part of it, go join us on Discord. There's more conversations with everybody going on behind the scenes in Discord. I can't even keep up with half of it, because there's so many different things. I didn't know Discord was such I thought it was like something completely different. And so it's pretty cool. And thanks for the guys that are behind the scenes, Marine Blood. I'm not going to be able to give all of you Twitchy Stitch, who else? My man with the best beard in the house, and who else? There's somebody else. I'm missing somebody. So we do appreciate you guys, and it's been fun, and we'll end it there. I'm trying to. I'm making sure we go through all of the sponsors.
I think you got one last little comment
By me.
to highlight right there. You'll see it.
Which one is it?
Were they saying you were ugly, or
No. He's talking about Eric. You'll see it.
Oh, Eric is just a sidekick.
Yes.
We just let him think it's his show. Oh, we know he knows that as well, guys. He actually was sending me some messages tonight, and guys, this show wouldn't be we wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for all of you guys, and we very well know that, and we appreciate everybody being a part of it. And
100%, man.
With that said, we appreciate everybody, and God bless and good night.
And everybody look at the poster behind Alan's head. That is a Sasquatch laying on its side, and he's probably 7'10", and that is Harry with the Hendersons with a friggin' LED wrap around it. That's
that is awesome.
I've got a new light purchased. It just isn't here yet, so y'all will be able to see it. My wife bought that for me for my birthday. She thought that needed to be in the background, so love her.
That's awesome.
All right, guys. Good night, and
Have a
God
good night.
bless. We'll talk to you later.
Peace out, guys.